Hello traders and welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 133. It's Iliya here, and as always I'm super happy to have you on the Trading Fanatic channel. As always, in this video we're going to have a look at the market, how it developed this week, what opportunities did we have, and what we can potentially expect for the upcoming week. So this one was actually very nice. We had some great moves, especially on the minors. It was a little bit tough for the majors, for pairs like EU and GU. AU, by the way, moved very nicely, but it's not very related to the DXY. This is possibly why. And we're having a little bit of tensions, especially with the planned interest rate hikes from the Fed. And I see that the ECB, I listened to a speech yesterday, also China, Xi Jinping is not really happy about this one. So they're warning the US about their hiking of the rates because this is going to affect all other countries. And we can see how this one is reflected in the market. Like, we had a very nice drop on the Dixie, and right now we're having a very massive push. And so again, this kind of makes it a little bit difficult to really identify a very specific and clear bias. But of course, as intraday traders, we can always follow the momentum and catch some nice trades. In this video, I'm also going to show you the trades that I took this week. It's a nice profitable week. I started trading on Wednesday. Monday was absolutely insane day, especially on EU, but I missed Monday and Tuesday. Then I traded on Wednesday, so I took 2 very nice wins and 1 loss on that day. Thursday hit me with 2 losses and Friday 1 loss. So it was very tricky actually after the midweek, and we're going to actually examine this one in this video, and I'm going to provide you with even more details about the current situation. So of course, if you're new to this channel, it is all about trading. I share these weekly outlook and setups every Saturday, and once per week I give my best to share an educational piece of content or trading setups breakdown video. More are to come, I promise. So make sure you are subscribed and turn on the notification bell in order not to miss when the video gets uploaded. And of course, before we start, crypto right now it's in a bear market, so it's great to trade them, not invest in them. So make sure to check out cedarforex.com. It is a great broker. It has stocks and cryptos as well. It has great spreads, and they have no commission account, but if you pick their eco account, you're gonna pay a little bit of commission, but every single lot that you trade goes towards planting 10 trees. So I really love this initiative, so make sure to check them out. Make sure to follow all the links in the description. Check them out as well. There are also timestamps for each and every pair that I analyze. Make sure to check this one out, and let's get started right now. Alright, as always, getting started with a Dixie. Let's have a look how the dollar performed this week and where we can potentially expect it to go. Now, it is very key what the Fed is actually gonna do. Okay, we're having a lot of speeches, a lot of projections as well. They plan to hike the rate, which means increase them, which is in turn potentially going to impact the dollar in a positive way, because more money is going to be going into the dollar. And we can already see, just because of this, the stocks are plummeting, right? So make sure to check out my analysis later on the indices. We're going to cover them, but they are just plummeting. A lot of stocks are really dropping right now. The indices are all dropping, and I do think this is the result of this. So let's have a look again. If we zoom in again, just to give you a little reminder, so we are currently reacting from this guy, okay? But again, the market has turned bullish from the downside. And what I always tell you is, don't just drop a support or resistance level on the left and expect the market to just reverse from there. No, sometimes those levels are just for the market to tap. There are of course sell orders right there. Then those sell orders provide us with a pullback, and then afterwards we can just continue to head higher. So this is kind of my expectation so far, but maybe it's a bit too early to actually say so. If we drop our weekly range, which looks like this, we started from here, 25th of October, massive pump into the highs, consolidation throughout from November through December, and right now we started with a nice push to the downside. We went below 50%. Did we retest this wick? We almost kissed it, so this is kind of nice. So it looks like the pullback can be coming to completion on the DXY. So can we start expecting the market to move higher? Well, this is what we're going to see in the upcoming weeks, potentially. Because yes, January actually just opened, and January is usually a slow month. It has been pretty slow for me, but I was busy with a lot of stuff, so I couldn't really trade properly. Hopefully the month is gonna finish on profit if I really don't mess up this final week. But yeah, let's see how we're gonna do. So pretty much I'm still looking for this little zone to be tapped. Of course, there is still some downside potential on the DXY. And right now, if we zoom in on the daily, you can see like on the weekly, yes, we're bullish, but right now on the daily, we're still bearish. Okay. So my lower high is this one. So as long as we remain below this one, I'm still mindful that potential sellers can come in and push the market down and make a new lower low. Because have a look at this. So we started cooking sellers from here. We pushed to the downside, pull back, lower high, massive lower low. This one is right now a potential lower high. Okay, everything is potential. Everything is maybes, could be's. Okay, in the market, you are never certain. So if some of you is like projecting your opinions onto the markets and using language like the market should, the market must, the market needs to, this level should be respected, then you're doing it wrong. Okay, but probably soon you're gonna come to realize that this is not the way to look into it. But let me not go on a ramp about this one right now. So currently on the daily, looks like we are overall bearish, but then if we turn to the 4H, you can see the confusion right now. Weekly bullish, daily bearish, 4H is currently intraday overall bullish. Okay, so we opened up right here with a little consolidation, then massively on Tuesday we expanded into the highs, we tapped into these areas right here. Okay, so pretty much the whole week I was waiting for this one to tap. So at first we just kissed it. Okay, we just came inside and then we started initiating this pullback. So this is where I actually took a long on EU, which took a hell of a lot of time to push up. Okay, but you can see that we just gave a correction, then the market came in to respect the last higher low, which was right here, and then we went for a new higher high. So is it a higher high or is it a fake? This is what we're yet to see. Okay, so right now guys, if we just keep it simple, where is our major higher low? It's slightly tricky because this one did not push with a body. So this one did not close with a body close above. Okay, so it's slightly bit tricky, but I would still say, yeah, that this is my major one. Okay, this one looks pretty flat because, and I'm not gonna make it as major because we can simply do something like this. We can just grab the liquidity because this is pretty flat price right there. We can just grab and we can head higher. Okay, but of course, if we start breaking below right here and if we start breaking below this guy right there, we can potentially expect the market to reach lower and to come into these areas right there. But if we continue with the bullish bias, if we continue breaking structure right here, and if this supply right there fails, then I can definitely say that we are about to turn bullish, and I think we're going to be seeing this week. Okay, so this is overall my analysis. I remember guys, in every outlook I actually tell you about wicks. So oops, not this one. So if I just drop like 50% of this wick, so we still have a lot of space to go into this guy. So also what we can have is a tap inside the wick. Oops, not this one. Where is it? Yeah, a tap inside the wick, which is gonna create a new higher high. Then the higher low is gonna become this one. And then if we break this higher low, retest, lower high, then we can of course drop. So those are kind of the two scenarios. I always give you scenarios, guys. And again, it's all about you following those and just learning how to flow with the market, because it's one thing to have an analysis and then it's another thing to actually go with what the market provides you. Because usually a big percentage of the time, your analysis is not going to play out as expected. Okay, so let's have a look how the DXY is gonna roll this week. I am overall bullish right now just because of the 4H, but we are still in this daily pullback. So it's really key to see how overall the market is going to play within this range right here. Currently, we are bullish. If we start breaking higher lows, then I'm gonna turn bearish. But so far, I am looking for longs. So let's see also how the Euro USD is going to support this. All right, let's look at EU weekly time frame. So pretty much if we just simply look at this pair, and again, what I always give as a tip is to always start looking from the right to the left, right? So what are we doing right now? We are going down. We are bearish. Again, if we also apply what we broke down in the monthly time frame analysis at the beginning of this month, pretty much we're currently reacting from this little guy right here, this little range. This is again a rally-based rally kind of demand. But overall, I am projecting the market does not need to pull back right here, or the market should, again, just watch out your language, because a lot of guys will say the market will go to this level. So 1.10, this is the level where EU will go, and it will reverse from here. Okay, so this is kind of wrong. But currently, we are responding from this level. But again, as I told you on the DXY, sometimes support or resistance or demand levels or supply like this are just going to be a cause for the market to tap, to get some buy orders for a potential pullback, and then just to drop. Okay, this is not a tap and reverse. Okay, so if I remove this level, and if we again just project that the market can potentially break below this low, head for the lowest level right there, 1.10, and then from there, of course, this is what is it, 3,000 or 3? Yeah, this should be 3,000 pips, I think. So this is a very long time. So let's not forecast that much. Okay, if we just look at the most recent range, so pretty much the move started after this bullish pullback. So if we drop the link like this, we can see that it beautifully pulled back above 50%. But even if we take it from the highest point, we still tap 50%. So for me on EU, a 50% pullback is more than enough to say, okay, cool. So we had the push, we had the pullback, we are potentially ready to go and make a new lower low. All right, so let's see. And this also pretty much supports the potential bullish outlook on the DXY as we analyzed, because again, the US is entering right now into a contractionary phase. So pretty much they're trying to battle inflation, and they are going with the tapering process right now. And again, as I told you, the interest rate increase of the by the Fed is not very well supported by the Eurozone, by China as well. So I do think if actually the US is gonna do this, the dollar can really potentially increase, right? And then we're gonna see a drop across all the other currencies that are competing with the dollar. So again, Euro USD makes sense for it to drop, okay? But let's have a look what the technicals tell us. Why is my chart lagging? So pretty much on the daily, again, we have a look at the range, massive pump lower, again, a whole month, even month and a half of consolidation. We had this, again, beginning of January, we had this massive run into the highs, and I do think this is kind of a fake. So the market really rushed into the highs, tricked a lot of people into buying, and right now with the same momentum, we are going down. I want you to have a look, because this usually does not happen when you have trending markets. We have 3 days of push, and then we have 3 days of massive pullback. So this for me just signifies a V shape, right? And this means that, well, it simply means that the buyers are not really in control right now. They pushed the market up, and then the same sellers came in and pushed the market down, back into the consolidation, okay? But again, if you remember last week, we were pretty bullish. Again, the expectation was for the market to potentially tap into this whole daily zone, which looks like this. And I am really pissed that I did not trade on Monday, because on Monday there were some lovely shorts to be taken. One of the shorts from here, another short from right there, because again, the expectation was to see the market pull back into this area. So if you're trading on Monday, then you're trading the pullback into the lows. But oh man, this pullback resulted in a massive drop, okay? So pretty much where the market went later is within this wick. So this is where I took my long. So I took it from somewhere right here. I rode the market a little bit higher right there. One of my trades I closed somewhere right here. I'm going to show you later. And yes, then it looks like the market just created a lower high. And if we also have a look at the range, which started from here, it ended down there, we can see that we just kissed the 50% and we ran to make a new lower low. And what is a great detail about EU is that it also broke with a body close. So if you remember the Dixie, it failed to close with a body, but this one actually closed with a body. So this confirms a new lower low and also confirms a new lower high, which I'm going to mark within this wick. Okay, because this is what makes sense right now. This is the wick. It also took a little bit of liquidity right there, and then we just dropped. And I think this is where I actually lost on longs. I think we're gonna see later. But pretty much the question is this level valid anymore? Well, we can see that we tapped inside, very weak reaction. So this is what you want to see in trending markets: a massive dump and a very corrective pullback. Okay, and right here we don't have this. We have a massive pump and a massive dump. So this does not really look bullish to me anymore. And right now what we had, push, very nice pullback, another very nice push with 2 candles. Right, have a look. The push was 2 candles. The pullback is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles. So currently, if we just look at the current state of EU, it has already pulled back into supply. And who knows, maybe on Monday it's gonna go short. The other outcome that we could have is, so this kind of zone right here hasn't been retested. So if this one fails, then maybe the market can potentially pull back. So this can be our whole range, and we can have a pullback above 50% into this zone. Okay, so from 1.14, we can also be looking for shorts, and this also depends on the DXY. If the DXY at that point is also going to pull back into some sort of a level down there potentially, so then from here we can really look for a short. So the DXY, if the DXY goes short, then oops, not Ethereum, then EU is going to go long, and both of them are going to tap into those levels, and then potentially we can see the actual leg. Okay, I am not a huge fan of Monday morning going and shorting from here, but again, it's possible, and we can start dropping to the lower time frames as well, but currently we don't have something too much to work with. It's very flat so far. We can expect another run into the highs, and then of course, if the market starts to develop structure like this on the 15-minute, okay, so if we have a manipulation above this high right there, because this is the kind of the previous daily high, and usually on Monday we're going to manipulate something, then if we have a very nice introduction of sellers, then if we have a nice lower high, only then I'm going to short on Monday. Okay, but again, I'm kind of suspecting that we're also going to climb higher as the DXY, so let's see. But overall, the main conclusion that we can say is that EU is not really bullish. Okay, if it was bullish, this massive dump to the downside wouldn't have occurred, and we wouldn't have had a new lower low right there. Okay, so pretty much this massive leg to the downside has consumed all of this bullish leg to the upside. So let's see if we're also not gonna turn into another range. This will be not very nice. Okay, so this is how I'm gonna leave EU for now, and again, make sure to stay tuned for my Tuesday analysis, because then we're gonna see how Monday played out and how we can of course adapt, because my analysis personally changes every single day as day trader. Okay, so let me show you what I did this week very quickly without going into way too many details. Again, as I told you, we tapped inside this whole buy region, especially this week, so that was really good for me to see. So what I did is I dropped to the 50-minute time frame to wait for the market to potentially indicate to me that a potential retracement phase is starting. So we had this last lower high, this is a lower low, this is a lower high, this is a lower low, we consolidated, there is Asian range, and then we broke above the last lower high, which is this one. And then if you zoom in, we had a higher high, we had a higher low, then boom, we had a new higher high. So after this, I said in the morning to my team as well, all of those trades are called, by the way, that I'm going to be looking for longs. Okay, so I just dropped my levels right there, and I dropped to the 1 minute, which is my entry time frame. I'm possibly gonna delete some price just to keep it simple. And yeah, my first trade was taken with a slightly bigger stop loss because I had pretty much two levels to enter. I wanted to enter from this little guy right here, but I also saw that this was the range that also broke the structure into the highs. But sometimes this becomes liquidity, right, for the market to seek a lower level, which has been a very often occurrence on EU. It doesn't do it always, but it does it a lot of the times. So my first trade was taken from here, from 320. Like this, stop loss was below, which was 5 pips, and then my second trade was with a 2.9 pips from right there, as we had a reaction. So I saw that the market reacted from this guy, we saw a reaction, so on the pullback I took another trade and kept my stop loss below this level because I knew that this one was potentially going to be respected. And yeah, then it took the market quite some time. There was a beautiful re-entry right here, but I didn't take. So I took a nice partial of this trade right there at 1 to 4. Yeah, so this is pretty much where I closed the trade for 1 to 11, right? It was actually on the next day. But first I took partials right here. That's around 1 to 4. So you're going to see possibly, I have a lot of partials, so I'm not going to share all MT4 stats. But this was my first partial, and then the second partial was taken as we made the new high. So I think I also banked some partials from this one, which was a very big stop. So 1 to 3, kind of, but I ended up closing this one for a 1 to 4 right here of 5 through 6, I think it was. And yeah, then I took, I think, some more at the top right there of this position. I'm not really sure, but then I left a low lot size to run overnight. But then what happened? So as the market was running higher, we had a new 15-minute demand being created. This again in the middle, something to potentially get liquidated. And it actually, oh, come on. It actually got liquidated. So there it is. We had a pullback, lower high, lower low, boom, higher high. So for me, this was enough to start basing a long trade. So what I did is I scaled in. I took a trade from here. Stop loss was below 3.2 pips. Gave a nice reaction, but failed to break above and then just smacked me right there. So that was a loss. And then the market went all the way down to actually retest the absolute extreme level right there and gave us a beautiful long. A member of my community actually took this trade, which was massive, massive, massive. And then I was also looking to scale in, but then I wanted to enter from this guy, but then the market respected this one. Then it started making new higher highs and higher lows. But I was like, man, you have 2 trades running from the bottom. You're pretty good. So I think at the last push, at the last make of a higher high, I just sabotaged the bigger portion of this and I took profit of this one. So as you can see, yeah, exactly right here at the break, I took full TP on this one, which was from 20, and I left the lower one to run in tomorrow as well. So this was a very nice trade. Only the partial right here covered all my losses from the last week, because if you remember last week I had a losing week. So that is very good. That is very good. And then going on to Thursday. So what I first of all did on this day is I took my whole profits on the lower trade, somewhere right here. As it was making a new higher high, I just took them. Because what I was expecting was some potential shorts, okay? But what I did is I just followed my plan. The 50-minute was still bullish. We had this Asian range. The market liquidated below the Asian range. It started to push into the highs, broke structure. But this thing right there happened during London, which pretty much looked like a very nice V shape, a very nice London high for the market to continue to drop lower. Okay, but I was overall bullish at that time, not really expecting such massive sell to occur. And I failed to pay attention that again, the market just pulled back into the 50% and that it was about to go down. So what I did is I took 2 losses right here. Luckily, I reduced my risk on these ones because I'm always flexible with my risk. If I just perceive that something is wrong, I listen to my intuition and I reduce the risk, right? And what I perceived as wrong at that time was the development of this thing right here. So this happened exactly in London. So there is 9 o'clock, London open, there is your manipulation during London, and then we started shifting to the downside. So I kind of knew that the market is potentially going to go down, but I was like, well, you should listen to your plan. So this is my 50-minute level. So I took an aggressive trade first of all. I'm currently testing out something with the team as well. We, by the way, have webinars every Thursday. So every trade is broken down with the greatest detail. I'm just covering them slightly superficially right there, to be honest. But this one is the first trade that I took. 3 pip stop loss. The stop loss was below this low right here. It got mismacked. It reacted, got mismacked. And then it reacted from this little guy. I was like, okay, cool, bro. EU, are you a bastard again? Are you playing with me again? So I decided to jump into another long just in case, but the risk was reduced also on this one. And yeah, I took 2 losses on this one, which was pretty stupid. And then the market continued to actually drop to the downside. There were some shorts to be taken, but I didn't take any. In New York, you can see how New York created this beautiful pullback. But at that time, I think I was looking at this level, which didn't tap. So I missed on any shorts on this one. So 2 losses on Thursday, but still in profit, and also 1 loss on Friday. So again, on Friday, I was like, okay, right now the market looks bearish. All right, so I dropped this level right there. We had a structure break to the downside. This was also a nice pullback. The Asian range was absolutely insane. This pretty much the Asian range starts from here and ends right there. We got a liquidation above. We got another one. Then we started shifting on the lower time frames. Yeah, so pretty much there is your liquidity. It got taken out. The market tried to create a higher low, failed to push, then made a new lower low. So on the retest, I entered from here. Stop loss was above. It gave a beautiful reaction, but then it just failed to follow through and took another loss right here. So later, yeah, it kind of went a little bit to the downside, but still failed to make a new lower low, went into the highs, and then we just closed the day like this. So this is my performance this week. I'm sad that I didn't trade on Monday because if I caught this short, that would have been lovely, and there were a lot of shorts to be caught right there. But pretty much all the profits were back, all the losses were covered, also some profits. So let's see how this week is gonna end. But overall, January does not look very good for me. Very small profits, kind of around break even. So looking already forward to February and some more clear markets. So as I told you in the intro, the JPYs, or the minor currencies, the currency pairs, are doing really good right now. So sometimes I wonder, bro, why do you stick with EU? Go to trade a pair like this, because look at that. So again, as we said, we had a break of structure. The market nicely pushed, the market very nicely pulled back, created a lower high, and right now we are on the way down towards potentially creating a new lower low. Okay, so if you are short on EJ, well, that is absolutely lovely. Okay, so we tapped inside right there at the beginning of January. We consolidated for quite a while, but you can see on the 18th of January, we had that last retest with this wick, and then we just plummeted down. Okay, so personally, I am bearish overall on this pair because yeah, it just looks bearish. It also supported by the bearish bias on EU as well. So this is why I do believe this one is going to move nicely. On the daily, what I can extract is this level as a lower high, which we're possibly going to see it clearly on the 4H. Can the market potentially react from a level like this? Yes, but again, mark my word, it's a reaction. So what we can do is maybe tap inside, pull back, and then just drop. So this is what I would pretty much expect to happen. But this is, by the way, the daily. So let's actually look on the 4H, which is our main time frame. So yeah, very nice development right there on the 4H. So we had the market creating a higher high, higher low, higher high, broke the last higher low, pulled back, lower high formation, massive drop to the downside. So this is where we start looking for shorts. We went for a little bit of a liquidity grab right there. But again, keep in mind, this is the up-down formation. This is how I call it. It's like a V shape as well. Liquidated, then we had another one right there. Then we dropped. We successfully created the new lower low. Come on. There it is. And then we beautifully pulled back right there to perfectly tap into this zone right there, which I think I should have broken down maybe in the analysis. I really hope so, because right now it looks really clear. And then we just plummeted to the downside, which is really nice, really nice. And yeah, right now we're just staying at the bottom right there. So it's slightly bit too late to start shorting because the market is at the lowest range. And the biggest question right now is, how are we going to develop? Are we going to first stop right here and then initiate the pullback? Or are we going to initiate a pullback first thing during the week? So this is pretty much my two expected outcomes. This structure right here also created a very nice lower high, and then we dropped. It didn't pull back towards the 50%, but this is fine on EJ. I haven't backtested much EJ, but I think it doesn't always provide a bigger pullback. So pretty much, guys, shorts either from this level, or if this one doesn't get respected, so we can have something like this, a tap, a reaction, and then potentially headed into the higher ones. And then from here, we can of course start looking for shorts. Okay, so pretty much those are all the scenarios that could happen. Again, give it some time on Monday. Let's see how it plays out. And yeah, I would much prefer a first pullback, to start with a pullback, so then we can really focus on shorts and taking those shorts. But if it starts with a move down, then you can of course drop to a lower time frame and start looking for pullback trades into the highs, if of course your criteria are met. So let's see. All right, let's have a look at the Aussies, starting with AU. Such a lovely development this week, absolutely textbook. If you have a look, actually my latest thumbnail on the last outlook was actually the development on AU, and it played out very nicely. Very nice. And I have spotted also the Fanatic team is starting to trade AU a lot, and I'm also starting to look into it. So possibly I'm gonna start trading this one as well. Just want to gather a bit more data with back testing and with forward testing about how it moves, what kind of levels does it respect, because it, of course, every pair has its own trickiness, right? GU, I don't like GU at all, but AU is kind of a combination between EU and GU. So I'm definitely gonna be looking into it. So pretty much on the weekly range, we had a beautiful pullback above 50%. We created this beautiful wick last week. And as you can see, again, what did I tell you about wicks? They tend to be fulfilled around 50% or more. And we pretty much got tapped. This is 50%. Let me make it like this. We pretty much tapped 50%, went slightly bit above. And right now we close with a very nice bearish candle, which is a pin bar and is also an inside bar. So man, this is really nice. So next week, at least, we are going to target this low, if we're of course bearish, because currently this is our range of the mother candle. But I think it actually makes a lot of sense to just smash the downside. Weekly time frame is bearish. And yeah, we are potentially headed towards taking out those lows. So AU looks very bearish, which also supports bearish bias on EU. So pretty much where this one came is inside this range right there. We kind of had this flat highs. The flat highs were liquidated, and have a look what happens when they get liquidated. A massive pump into the highs and a massive dump into the lows. So again, 2 candles up, 2 candles down. This is not bullish. The momentum is not bullish. Overall, the flow is kind of still bullish on AU. Like we had this higher high, higher low. This could have been a higher high. This right now is creating a higher low, but you can see we tried to push up, we failed, and we're right now trying to reverse. So we're starting to see the signs about the failure of potentially continuing higher, but there was an absolutely insane long that I wanted to take, but I was already 2 trades deep on EU at that time. So pretty much it was a 1 to 25 or 1 to 30 that could have been catched, and I was just looking at this trade live, right? It was taken from down there with a very tight stop loss, and potentially this was the level that I really wanted to target right here. And yeah, if you targeted it to right here, it was a huge, and I had members from my team that actually took this trade, so it was really nice. So what we have right now is, again, the market failing to make a new high, responding from this guy, which pretty much created a very nice shift. So we broke the high, then we broke the higher low. This one created a lower high and massively dropped. Also kind of a buy to sell or drop base drop kind of supply. We tapped inside, and right now we're headed lower. So the sellers are in control. And right now, again, the biggest question is, where are we gonna pull back to? This one has created a new supply right here. And we had a little pullback right there, and right now we're continuing to drop lower, potentially about to target this low right now. But yes, so again, the big question is, how are we going to play it? Because it's at the lower portion of the range, it's potentially about to create a new lower low, and if you create a new lower low, then we can expect a pullback. Okay, so we reacted from this range right here. This range failed to make a new one, so it's gonna get taken. So this level at least, and also these levels, those 2 levels, I would expect to get taken out. Okay, so then we have this guy right there, but pretty much where is our major daily higher low? It's this one, because this is the one that actually broke the structure higher. Okay, but we can see that those levels are starting to fail, so we can expect everything to fail. Again, the biggest question is, what kind of development can we have? Okay, well, pretty much I would love to short it from here, but this looks a little bit too high, okay, for the market to pull back. And you can see that we just had a lower high right there, which is not very nicely looking. Maybe we can check it out on the 15-minute. Yeah, it's not the best. It's really not the best. So again, I'm gonna be very honest with you. Let's not overanalyze. There are currently not really some nice levels to be trading from. Personally, I can just take a level like this and just mark it out as a potential reaction zone, right? We can go to the hour or to the 15-minute to have a look at it, but let's just wait to see how the market is gonna open, because we can maybe have a new pullback, then we can have a massive sell-off, and after this massive sell-off, then this is gonna create new supply, and then we can just follow the market. Okay, but overall I am bearish on AU. I expect potentially for the market to take out all of these lows. The biggest question is, how do we get involved? Okay, I would prefer for the market to give me a pullback somewhere right here and then drop, but of course let's see how it's gonna play out. So far this is the level that I see as very nice, but I don't expect the market to pull back like with 100% retracement. So let's see how it's gonna play. Slightly bit tricky, so stay tuned for my Tuesday analysis. And what we can see that AJ is already on the move. 3 bearish weeks right there, kind of gaining momentum to the downside. So let's check out the daily. Yeah, so we pull back right there. We're starting to shift structure on the daily. You can see that this one was a higher low, higher high. We shifted right there. We pull back. There is a lower high. There is a new lower low right there. We pull back. There is a brand new lower low. So we're currently traveling towards this guy right here. That is potentially going to give us, once again, a reaction, not a reversal, a reaction. On the 4H, I also see a level like this that can give us a little reaction. So this one looks slightly bit clearer. We had a massive drop. We had a pullback. We had a push that failed to break the lows. Then we had a pullback. This wick right there liquidated above this high, which is very nice. So pretty much, again, I have this level right now. So this is my last lower high. This is my last lower high supply. So this is where I would love to short AJ. So the question is, like AU, are they gonna both pull back so high? Because this one looks like at the absolute extreme, but this is how I'm looking at it right now. What could happen is we can pull back around 50%, let's say. We can stop, and if we see the market starting to reverse lower, then just go with it, right? And if you miss it, the market's gonna make a new lower low, it's gonna pull back for a new lower high, and you're still gonna catch it, okay? So overall, bearish outlook on both AUDs, but again, let's see how they're gonna play out. The biggest question is, how do we get in? So let's wait for pullbacks and then strike, and of course, listen to your strategies and all of your rules, and strike whenever the rules present. Let's have a quick look at the NZDs. So pretty much we have this weekly zone right here. Again, as I told you, those are just potential reaction areas. We tapped inside, we reacted, we created a lower high. So you can see it's kind of a similar occasion if you followed AU. The supply, the lower high will be here, but you cannot always expect 100% pullback. Sometimes the market stops in the middle, gives you the signal, and then it drops. Okay, so make sure to always flow with it. So we created this massive wick the last week. We created this massive wick the last week, but you can see that this one did not pull back to 50% of the wick. Okay, it just started straight flushing to the downside. We have made a new daily lower low, and we're potentially about to target this one. So this is the first target, and then potentially we're going to get deeper into the zone, but I do expect this zone to fail. Maybe there are some more orders inside. So if the market actually breaks the zone, we can have a pullback and then we can have a push. So this is what I expect. And then all of these are potentially going to fail and we can have a nice bearish market on the NZDs. So yeah, those are my expectations. I expect those levels to get broken and then we can potentially initiate a pullback. Then the next question is, where will the pullback end? First of all, daily level right here, and the second level is going to be right there, which we're going to look at on the 4H. Yep. So there is the absolute extreme that didn't get reached at first, but then you can see how the market starts making new structure. Okay, we reacted from this little guy right there. We reacted, failed to follow through, and then we just broke it. Okay, so what does this create? Creates a new lower high. So there is your new kind of lower high range. What the market does, it pulls back exactly right there. This is a new lower low, lower high, bang. There is your short, first target met. Okay, so right now, pretty much, yes, as I just dropped it on the daily, this is our range. If you want to make it smaller, this is going to be like the last candle. I would personally even take this high. So something like this. So this is pretty much my range. You can also drop a 50% zone. So as long as we are below 50%, we can also look for some longs. Maybe the market is going to open by taking out the lows. This is going to make a lot of sense because there is a lot of liquidity staying below. So if you take the liquidity, then this is going to be paired with some buy orders. So we can start initiating a pullback. Then as we tap inside, there is my oops, there is my outlook, right? So yeah, then the range can become something like this as we tap above the 50%. You can also look at it like this whole buy to sell range. 50% is roughly the same place where the supply is. So yeah, this is my outlook on the NZDs. I am on the NZD USD. I am looking for sells. First of all, we need to have a pullback first, okay? We can also initiate a pullback at first, like this is also going to be lovely. So yeah, those are the two outcomes. And if we have a look at the JPY opposite, it's just starting to gain massive momentum, okay? And we can first of all expect this low to be taken out. On the daily, massive drop to the downside. We're just about to tap into this guy right there. So can we have a little reaction first for the market again to pull back, to create a lower high and then to drop? My lower high looks this one, so I'm gonna take this whole candle and then potentially we're gonna look at it on the 4H. But yeah, this is overall the full hourly range. This is the last lower high before the drop lower. Let's see if we're gonna respond from this one. It's gonna be really nice because if we do respond, then we're gonna get a nice pullback. We're gonna tap inside this level and then we can drop. And then the other occasion is first a fake of this one, a break, or fake, then a pullback, and then still a flush. Okay. So those are my two potential scenarios on NZD JPY. Again, on all the pairs that I just covered, I would first prefer the market to initiate with a pullback because this is going to be nice for us to start looking for shorts immediately, okay? But if you first break the low, then you can of course start looking for some longs as well, for some pullback trades, because it could take the market a week to create that pullback, and then the next week it can take another week to consolidate. You can see sometimes the market just consolidates for a couple of days before it makes the move, okay? So again, as always, flow with the market. Let's have a look at UJ, which is a pretty tricky pair as well. So we actually rushed to make a new higher high, which is really good. And right now it looks like we are in this pullback stage. And again, our last and major higher low is this one right here. So we were just about to tap in, and we cannot say that this market is bearish right now. But we can see again, the momentum to the upside was even slower than the momentum to the downside. So if the move started from here, it took the market 11 bars and 15 days. And then it took the market 8 bars to pull back. So this definitely signifies more momentum even to the downside, okay? And what we did is pretty much we were reacting from this wick. The reaction was really nice, but again, as I tell you, reaction So it did not reverse, it pulled back, it created a lower high, and right now potentially is on its way to break this low. The biggest question is what happens after we break that low, because what could happen is we can just tap deeper into this range, then start shifting, and then we can start running for a new higher high. And right now I cannot really comment on this one because this again is in the hands of the Fed. Also, I heard that Japan is really struggling right now with the COVID case as well, and they're also against the Fed hiking the rates. And if Japan is doing bad, then and the US dollar is strong, then this one should really be going bullish. So I don't know, it doesn't make much sense. But yeah, again, we can see that when you drop to the 4H, it's getting a little bit tricky. We tap inside, the reaction was really nice, it created a lower high, but then look at the momentum down. It's very choppy, very complex. So this signifies that there is not a lot of pressure to the downside. The pressure to the upside was really nice. And yeah, this pair for me is right now is a little bit tricky. Okay, so if this level did not respond and if it didn't create a new higher high, then potentially it can get broken. Okay, but if we then, as I told you, if we tap inside 113 somewhere right here, then I can still start looking for longs. Okay, the next thing that could happen, which I don't think it will, is us holding from this level, but we have come in so deep inside this zone, so I just think we're gonna break. Okay, so yeah, again guys, on UJ I am gonna leave it as it is right now. I don't have a bias, I don't have a specific bias. Again, the market is slightly tricky right now, but January is gonna end, so hopefully we can get something clear right now. But yeah, I just don't like how corrective this one is. This does not signify a lot of sellers to me. We came in with a lot of sellers, we pulled back very aggressively, we stopped right there. Right now we're on the way down, currently about to tap into this zone right here. So personally, if this one starts getting respected like that, we can start looking for longs, definitely. And if the market taps inside this one, I'm also gonna start looking for longs. And if we just smash through it, then we can say that the weekly has reversed, and then of course what we can do is we can just target these zones right there. So give it some time, don't rush to say anything, and let's see how it's gonna evolve. And stay tuned for my Tuesday analysis, where we're gonna have a look at how Monday played out. Let's analyze all the GBPs, as always starting with GU. So if you remember last week, I told you that we are tapping into a very important level of supply on the weekly and also on the daily. We tapped inside and we're having an overall, yeah, it's an inside bar actually, which is really good because we can immediately drop our mother candle and we can expect a break of either of those two levels. But of course, a lot of sense goes into breaking the lows. Okay. At first, I did not trust it much because how the high formed was a little bit flat. So I was expecting another liquidity gap into the highs, but it looks like it's actually going. Okay. If you also have a look at something else, this one is a daily demand. So the market tapped inside, reacted for 1 day, failed, reacted for another day, it failed, and then we just flipped to the downside. So I do expect this level to fail, definitely. Okay. The question is when? Okay, so are we gonna first head to break this level, or are we first gonna initiate a pullback? If we also look at some levels, so you can see that there was a demand right there, the market tapped, reacted, failed. So then this one turns into resistance or supply, and the market comes to tap it from the other side. We also had a very little liquidity gap right there with this wick, which is really good because this one right now turns into our major lower high. So there is my level, guys. It also caused the break of structure. There it is. So pretty much I would really love if GU starts to rush into the highs at first, tap into these levels, lower high, and then we're just gonna short the hell out of it. But if we first actually make a new lower low like this is gonna pretty much confirm a bearish trend because this is the last daily higher low. This is the last daily higher low before we initiated higher. Does it have a pullback? Yeah, it's not very clear, but it's because of this wick. So this is the pullback. There is the massive initiation. We tap inside. We should have made a new high, but we failed. Okay, so I'm starting to look more bearish on GU, and also this is supported by the potential bullish DXY and the bearish Euro USD. So I'm short bias. This is the level that I would like to play from, and then of course those are the two developments that I'm gonna be looking for. Okay, either first to break, then you can take some longs right there. We're maybe gonna tap inside this wick, which is what I see at first. Then it's gonna give us some longs, pull back lower high, drop of course your range, then wait for the market to pull back about 50%, and then start striking. So let's see how it's going to play out. It's currently just in the middle of its push, so we cannot do much. This is what you have to understand, is that sometimes the positioning of price is not ideal, and you just got to give it some time for it to just give you a setup, right? Not every day is a trading day. GJ, again, as we saw across all the JPY pairs, we're having a nice drop to the downside. And yeah, pretty much responded from this guy. Created a double top, and right now we're on the way down. So let's see if we're gonna really continue like this. What did I tell you about this daily level? So if this one actually held, we're bullish, but it actually failed. It again reacted, tried to push up for a day, failed, tried to push another day, and then it just dropped. And right now we are officially, we can say, in a bearish market. Right now we have reversed, and what we can expect is to potentially the market to travel towards these zones right there, or at least to 50%, which we're just about to tap. Okay. If we drop to the 4H, again, we can see the reaction right there. It pulled back, massive wick, dropped lower, failed to break, consolidated, and then it dropped. Okay, so I don't like that this level wasn't retested. Right, but then we have new levels. So then this one actually created a liquidity grab right there, tries to push down, pulls back, and then it drops. And yeah, pretty much, do I take it like this? Yeah, this one was already tapped, so I can just take this one. I'm gonna take it like this, okay? On average. So there is my outlook on GJ. So we can potentially expect the market to stop somewhere right there and to initiate a pullback. Right now it's in a very nice push phase. So again, your only option is to look for longs potentially, but this is risky because you don't know if it's not just going to continue to drop. This level is already kind of being broken. The next potential stop is going to be this kind of base right there. But I would much prefer for the market to initiate a pullback, to tap into these levels, and then to give me a nice short. We can of course drop our range, which is like this. There is 50%. So yeah, I am short bias on GJ, but again guys, we have to wait for a pullback. Okay, so let's wait for it. The market can continue to push lower a little bit, then initiate the pullback, so then we move our range. And if you start seeing longs on the lower time frame, then you just go long. Okay, and you ride it towards the 50%. So those are the levels. Keep note of them. What is my best friend doing, Mr. GA? Just chopping on top on the daily. Man, this pair is so hard. I think I'm gonna remove it. I'm definitely thinking of removing this pair because I just don't understand it. We had this level right there, so it didn't reach. We stopped right here. We made a new higher high, so this level should have been respected. We tapped inside, we did not respect it. We broke below, so this one was taken out potentially as liquidity. And then you can see the market immediately breaks structure higher. So this was our daily lower high. It broke it. So this market to me looks kind of bullish, right? It already pulled back to create a potential higher low. So for me, if this one is broken right here, I'm going to be looking for a pullback and a continuation higher. So this is my plan on GA. Simple. Okay, simple. And I think I'm going to remove this pair because I've never traded this one, but I keep breaking it down without even understanding how it moves. But this is my outlook, guys. Okay, so this is the first potential confirmation that it's going to go bullish, but I would love to see another higher high to confirm and then potentially pull back higher low, and then we can start going with it. And my other best friend, Mr. Euro GBP, massively extended to the downside. Potentially, I'm really looking for it to pull back towards these zones right there. But currently, the daily lower high seems to be like this wick. So as long as we remain below this wick, we are still sell. But we can see massive momentum entering into the market right here on Friday. Massive buy off right there. So currently, it's going to respond to this one. We're having an overall range, a massive manipulation of the range. So can we have some upside? I do think so. I do think so. Also, the 4 hourly has shifted. We broke to the downside. We made a new lower low. So then the the lower high got broken. So what we can expect is a pullback into this range, higher low, and a push, or again a break, pullback, and a push. So I'm kind of getting bullish on Euro GBP, but yeah, this one has to pull back because it's just way too low, man. It's way too low. So let's hope that it's gonna give us a pullback. And if Euro GBP is bullish, this means bearish for GU, which is also what we want to see. But it doesn't speak well of Euro USD as well. So let's see. This one is very tricky pair, but expecting potential pullbacks. So let's see. And those are the GBPs, guys. Okay, all of them need some time, and I think GU could be a very nice short. I hope you're already short from these levels right there, although I did not trust it much. It's just traveling to the downside, so I'm expecting shorts on GJ. This one I don't know, and this one should be longs. Let's have a look at gold. So we're having a bullish week right there. Cryptos are falling, indices are falling, so gold starts to pick up a little bit of steam. So does it simply make logical sense for people to start putting their money into gold right now as one of the safe havens? Okay, maybe. So let's see. We are about to tap. I can actually drop this as a weekly zone because we also tapped inside this weekly zone. So right now it's really key to see because yeah, on the daily, what did I tell you right here? So we had a break of structure lower. It looks like shorts. We pulled back. We tried to push down, but we failed. And right now we broke structure higher. Okay, so this one for me is a break of structure, which also creates this one as a daily higher low formation. Okay, so yeah, this one is a weekly zone potentially to react. So let's see if gold is going to do something like this right now. Slightly starting to look a little bit more bullish because you can see from the bottom right there, we broke this high, we pulled back, we held from the zone, and although we were very chopping around right there, we can see that the buyers are kind of prevailing. Okay, and right now we had this break of structure on the daily. The 4 hourly created this range, and we can see that also it responded from this little base right there. So we have this base, push, respect, bang to the upside. So I will be very curious to see, guys, how the market is going to respond from right there. From 1820 yeah, to 1808. I'm not really into the levels on gold, but this is how I look into it. Starting to see slightly bit more bullishness, and I think, just thinking logically, it's people putting money into gold right now just because the stocks and everything is dropping. Even crypto is massively dropping, man. So this is gold for me, slightly looking bullish. Let's see if this one is gonna go, and let's have a look at some interesting stuff right now. Are we going to say hello to a new bearish market? This is the biggest question right now for stocks. Crypto is already pretty bearish, right? But we can see indices, US 30 broke the high, massive momentum down, massive candle. Just one candle of pullback like this we haven't seen in a while. Okay, if you just zoom out, we haven't seen this one in a while. Maybe this one right there in 2020. All right, so I'm really hoping that next week is gonna close like that. All right, but yeah, I don't think this one is gonna happen. We can see that it's just dropping. So again, guys, the higher low is this one right here. I'm not gonna spell the numbers right there, but if it close below this one, then we can definitely start expecting something deeper, something really deeper. If I can go to the 3 months, to the quarterly, you can see how extended it is. Okay, so since the crash, corona crash, massive drop, since there for a whole year, so since January all the way until January 2022, we have been bullish. So guys, this is a lot of space to be filled. Okay, so we can have a massive pullback. So if this happens, then we are in well, we're not in trouble. I'm pretty green on my portfolio, but I'm kind of afraid that it's gonna become red. I really dollar cost averaged everything very well, so it's paying out very nicely. But let's see, guys. So if we break below this one, then we can potentially start expecting some bearish markets, and there are no further levels to work with. We just dropped, we just tapped right there. So I do think we're just seeing the momentum gathering right there. People are starting to exit the market. It looks like selling. It looks extended finally. So let's see if we're going to get into a bearish market. Okay, and pretty much if you're trading this one, right now it's the perfect time to trade it on the short side. I personally don't do this stuff. But yeah, it looks pretty bearish right now. The last lower high is this one. So let's see, as long as we remain below this one, we are bearish. Okay, but pretty much pay attention to the daily, and if this one breaks, then of course we can start expecting something like this and a new downtrend. Okay, we're entering into this yeah, what's it called? So we achieved the boom. Right now the bust, it's gonna come. Massive weekly candle on Nasdaq as well. Massive. We're just about to break this one, and then of course we can start seeking lower levels like this. All right, we can short the market into those. We can dollar cost average right on every drop. But yeah, the last crash we had was during this one. So this crash was, yeah, we can of course measure it 30%. So we can expect at least 20%. drop. So there is 20% exactly into the zone right there. So we can of course start buying from there, because you can see on average, if you just get an average of all crashes, of course we are not going to go to 2008 because we're not having a similar crash. We're not having a COVID crash. A normal pullback right there was of course a 20%. So I think a pullback like this will be pretty nice, but be prepared. Be prepared for a bearish market. And then again, if you go to the quarterly, yeah, this one is definitely in need of a bigger pullback. Okay, so let's see how this one is going to go. But yeah, dropping onto the daily or to the 4H, we can see bearish structure remains. Lower highs are being created, lower low, lower high, lower low right now. The major one is still this for me, although we created one right here. But let's see. Yeah, if it just keeps dropping, if it breaks lower, this could be a lower high. If this one fails, then you can of course trade the upper one, right? But yeah, I don't trade. I know a lot of you guys are trading NASDAQ or US 30. So if you do, stay on the short side for now, because the momentum is really down. And if it's going to reverse, if it's going to respect those levels, it's going to take some time. Okay. S&P, I just bought on Friday. I'm dollar cost averaging. I'm buying every single pullback on this one, which is an absolutely insane strategy. I also have some indicators that I use. But right now it's 8.8% drop. And for S&P, this is absolutely amazing. Okay, so let's see how it's going to respond from this level right there. We're just getting into it. Again, our last higher low is this one. So let's see if we're actually going to continue to go lower and lower and lower. It's going to be nice because we're just going to buy more. Again, in terms of the quarterly, we're definitely needing some sort of a pullback. And if this level breaks right here, then of course we can expect an overall bearish market. Then we can stop somewhere in the middle and then we can continue to go. Okay, so nothing too much to mention except that the market is bearish right now, and we can just mark our last lower highs. But yeah, I hope some of you guys are also shorting this market. Keep shorting it until seen otherwise. But yeah, looking really forward to see a reaction from this little zone right there. Usually the market tends to dip around this kind of midweek of the month. So I'm also hopeful that we're going to see some sort of recovery. So let's see. And the highlight, of course, is crypto, because we just closed above below 39.60. Okay, so this range is absolutely invalidated, and we're already into 34. Man, oh man, we just tapped 34. I wanted to buy from 34, so I guess I missed it because it actually tapped right now as we were speaking. The market was tapping 34, so this one was very good buy, already at 35. So yeah, as the market continues to drop deeper into the zone, I'm also gonna be looking for buys. I made enough profit on it on the long term, so right now I'm just reinvesting the earnings. One of those I bought from down there, so I'm running also some drawdown right now, guys. But guess what? Just a little tip from me. So let's see how are we gonna respond from this level. This is pretty much the range that the market initiated from. Right there, we have coming all the way down. So let's see if we're going to create another range right there and have another uptrend. I really hope for this one. I hope this one is just a simple liquidity grab, and I'm going to be looking to purchase more Bitcoin as we start dropping lower. Even if we top 30k, another great, but around 32.50 is where the golden buy zone. Okay, but again, don't think that this is going to be a reversal. This can just continue to trend lower. Just invest what you can afford to lose, and make sure not, if you, for example, have 5k to invest 2.5 right there, and invest 2.5 as the market starts to drop, because this is how you're going to average it out. Okay, Ethereum, I bought some Ethereum right here at 29, running some drawdown as well on it. But yeah, it's a portfolio. You're not running a margin account. If you just run the asset, it's fine. It's on drawdown. I'm also staking right now Bitcoin and Ethereum as well. So they pay me very nice passive income every single week, which is amazing. So I'm definitely holding those ones and looking to stack more Ethereum at 22 right there. So as soon as we tap 22, make sure to stack. But right now, massive downtrend. We can of course mark the lower highs, but yeah, I'm personally bullish on crypto, so I really hope this one is a very nice pullback of around 50%. Okay, this pullback right there was around 60, so definitely I do think 60% is quite achievable for another pullback, so we can head higher. Okay, I just hope we're not gonna get into another range like this for a couple of years, so let's see. But right now crypto is too mainstream for doing this, so I do think this is just a pullback for us to continue higher. And with all the metaverse BS and all of that stuff, I am against it, but I do think it's going to get implemented, and crypto is going to become more mainstream. So yes, guys, exciting times ahead of us. Forex is a little bit tricky. Crypto and indices are down, which means we only buy, and we wait for more news from the Fed. We see how this one is gonna develop as well. But yeah, just stay tuned. Stay focused, flow with the market, follow your plan, because at the end of the day, you just have to follow your plan. This is gonna how you're gonna win in the markets. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit a like, subscribe as well. Stay tuned for more content incoming. I'm definitely gonna start posting more right now into February. I'm currently working on my revamp for the course, so make sure to join the course before the prices increase. All right, and yeah, wishing you all the best, guys, and talk to you on Tuesday.